Now, I Am, which is being premiered as part of the London Asian Film Festival. Tell us a bit about I Am.
I think Onir is the right person to tell you about the film. I could tell you more about my role in the film, and we're very proud and happy to say that at the London Asian Film Festival, I Am got the Best Film Award.
Fantastic.
Last night.
Last night, that's right, at the BAFTAs, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's right. Onir, can you just tell us a bit about I Am, please?
Yeah, I Am is a film which has 4 stories which are interlinked together through characters. It has stories of modern contemporary India, and we've shot it in 4 different cities: Kolkata, Mumbai, Srinagar and Bangalore. And it's perhaps the first crowdsourced film in India. By that I mean that about 400 people from across the world have contributed through social networking site and made this film possible.
Okay, and how long did this film take to make, and what made you inspire to make this film?
All the stories are inspired by real life stories, things that's happening around us, which all of us know about. It is not stories that we don't really know about, but it's just that we don't talk about it. All based on real life stories, and very, very stories that are engaging, which are compelling, and stories that I wanted to tell. You know, there was something very important and at the same time dramatic enough to make me want to make them into films. And from the time we started the whole exercise on social networking to the time it got completed, it's like just over a year, or a year and a half, and that's actually the normal, quite fast according to a non-conventional and something so experimental for the first time happening.
And when you were writing the film and when it came to the characters, what made you think of the actors and actresses you chose?
I think first of all the actors and actresses who are acting this film are primarily known for their pedigree as actors and actresses, and I feel that a film like this, when you're dealing with such complex subjects, you know, it's very, very important to have actors and actresses who kind of also give credibility to the entire, you know, to reach out to a wider audience. You need actors and actresses who would bring in people because they are so loved, you know, and it's extremely important that they are not just stars, they're also great. I think it has some of the best actors and actresses of modern contemporary Indian cinema come together for one film.
That's why you got Juhi Chawla.
Actually, Onir, I must just say this. I said, you know, if I was just looking at your film, one, he's cast very correctly. I mean, I know I just played the story of Megha, and you know, in Megha I worked with Manisha Koirala, and she was playing my friend, and she's a Muslim girl, and I just the casting worked so perfectly. Again, Nandita Das as Afia, and the stories have been really well cast.
Yeah. I think it's
all
also appropriately cast, because like Nandita Das plays a Bengali character, you know, Manisha plays a Muslim woman in Kashmir, so they kind of fit in. At the same time, it creates a kind of curiosity, you know. You have also directors Anurag Kashyap and Anurag Basu playing very important roles, so I think it is an interesting it's a very interesting ensemble cast for anybody who loves cinema to want to watch.
Okay, and Juhi, you mentioned that you're playing the role of Megha in this film, and there's also the fact that you kind of inspired, the role that you're playing is inspired by Sanjay Suri's mum.
Yes, actually I was surprised, and you know, I was quite shocked that this was taken from Sanjay's own life. I mean, this incident, in fact, in I would say in a more serious way, has actually that's been his life experience. So I was like, what? I've known Sanjay for years, but you know, I've worked with him on and off, but I just never knew this about him.
Did you spend a lot of time with Sanjay for this role when you were researching?
Actually, no, but I heard his not his version, but actually I heard what he'd been through from him, and then I also got to know of other real instance that, you know, actually happened there. Apart from that, when we went to shoot in Srinagar, we shot in areas where there was one entire colony. It's a huge colony. Each of the houses, each of them next to each other, burnt down, devastated. So when you go there is when, you know, you feel you actually, the whole thing comes alive. That you feel like you've been transported in time to see that place and to imagine that at one time there were happy families, and then this devastation took
Destruction, yeah.
place, and it still stands like this 20 years later. And just outside this huge colony is the city buzzing and normal as it is today. So just the contrast.
But how do you switch between such a hard-hitting role like that and then going back into real life again? When you're going, how do you switch off when you're going back home?
You know what? It's just, it's. I really don't know. I mean, one is yes, but it stays with you. Like, I can recount this now, and I feel like I'm, speaking of that time and how it was while shooting, or just the whole ambience of the place. And yet again, like Srinagar is, it's living today, and it's buzzing, and everything's back to sort of, well, not absolutely normal, but. And there is this portion where you go, it's a different world. It's worlds within worlds.
So there's that side of the film. Now you're dealing with, there's 4 different storylines, there's 4 different stories that are happening in this film. How do you think this will kind of be accepted in India? I mean, in terms of because it's such a hard-hitting storyline film for film, and the kind of the subjects that you're dealing with as well. Do you think they will be accepted so much and be taken back by the viewers in India?
For one, I'll tell you my reaction I'm from, what to say, I've said this, that I am a very Hindi filmy person. I like stories. Even as an audience, if I go into the theatre, I want to see something that holds my attention. And if it doesn't, hey, I want my money back. This ticket was not worth it. And, you're ready to shred the film to shred it. So I saw this film, I just knew my story, and I knew a smattering of Abhimanyu, but the others I had no idea about. I saw this film, I Am, at a screening which was for the cast and crew. So this was about 5 months ago. And I remember I went for the screening. I had very important calls to make, which I had to make at that certain time while the screening was on. But I was watching the film. I was so engaged in the stories that I didn't want to step out and make those calls. And soon as I had made those calls, I wanted to go back in to catch on and see what happened next. So this is my reaction as just a complete audience. Yes, they're unusual stories, but they're of people. The people in the film are young professionals, people, friends, and it's just delving into each one's actual life.
Now the film won the award, like you said yesterday, which is brilliant. Now the film's released on the 22nd of April. It's getting a national release.
Yes.
So Onir, tell us a bit about that. Now you're excited about the film's prospects at the box office on the 22nd of April?
Yes, I think for a filmmaker, the most important thing more than any awards is how your audience back home receives the film, and there has been a good buzz. And also for me, what is exciting is at the end of the day, it's the audience who has made the film. So it's a film made by the audience, and I'm sure they will realize that it is for them also, and that's what one is looking forward to, and fingers crossed. Secondly, increasingly there is a very, very growing audience in India which wants to see films which have a different story to tell. You cannot have the same biryani every day. You need something else at times, and I think there is an audience which is aware of that, which wants to take back home a film. Some films you watch and leave it back at the theatre, and some films you take back home. And I think, just like you were telling Juhi, how do you switch off? I think this film does not want you to switch off. It stays with you as something that you want to stay, because it makes it makes you grow as a human being. It expands your world, and I feel there is an audience which wants to see that happen to themselves, and it's a reflection. At the end of the day, this product is a product of the milieu of our own country, and it's a country which is growing. It's a country that's become much more confident and brave to deal with its own problems and dilemmas and be self-critical, and I think we as an audience in India are ready to deal with that.
Well, Juhi, I'm going to wish you the best of luck. I know it's been a short interview, but you luck with the film I Am. And Onir, to you as well.
Thank you.
Onir, it's been lovely to have you in the studio, both of you.
Thank you so much.